Here are 25 commonly asked DAX interview questions in Power BI. What is DAX? DAX is a formula language in Power BI, Power Pivot and Analysis Services to create calculated columns, measures, and custom tables. What are the key data types supported in DAX? Numeric, Boolean, text, date time, and blank. What is the difference between a calculated column and a measure? A calculated column is computed row by row and stored in the data model. A measure is computed at query time, optimized for performance, and used in visualizations. What is a measure in DAX? A measure is a dynamic calculation performed on aggregations defined using DAX. What is the syntax of a DAX function? The syntax generally will have the function name and you will have the brackets, and inside that you will have to specify some arguments. For example, if you want to calculate sum of sales amount, sum is the function name, and inside that you need to give the column name based on which it needs to do the sum. In this case we are taking amount column from sales table. What is the difference between sum and SUMX? Sum aggregates a column. SUMX iterates row by row over a table and evaluates an expression. What is row context in DAX? A row by row evaluation used for calculated columns and iterators like SUMX. What is filter context in DAX? Filter context is basically everything related to applying filters. It can be inside a DAX formula or it can be a visual like a slicer. Filters applied to data before performing calculations in measures or visualizations. Explain the difference between all and all except. All removes all filters on a table or column. All except removes all filters except the specified columns. What is the purpose of related function? It fetches a value from a related table using an established relationship. Difference between calculate and calculate table. Calculate modifies filter context for an expression. Calculated table returns a filtered table based on an expression. What is the purpose of filter function? It returns a table that meets the specified conditions. How does earlier function work? It refers to the previous row context in nested row based operations. What is the use of distinct function? A distinct function is used to get unique list of values from a column or table. How do you calculate a running total in DAX? We can calculate running total using calculate and filter functions. Let's say we have a sales amount and we need to calculate the running total of sales amount. We can use calculate and we can specify the sum of sales amount, and we can use filter function in order to get the sales until the current date. So for that we need to remove the filters on sales table by using all function, and after that we need to take the sales date and take the maximum sales date. When we do sales date less than or equal to maximum of sales date, in the current context, suppose we add this measure into a table, it will take all the sales date before the current up to current date and it will calculate the sales amount. That is how you calculate the running total using calculate and filter functions. What is the use of divide function? Divide function safely performs division and it handles division by zero. What is difference between values and distinct? A values function returns a one column table with unique values and it respects filters. Distinct function ignores filters and returns unique values. How does rank X function work? Rank X function ranks values in a column or table based on an expression and order. What is the purpose of use relationship function? Use relationship function activates an inactive relationship in a calculation. How do you handle many to many relationships in DAX? We can handle many to many relationships by creating a bridge table, and we can use functions like cross filter or relationship configuration. So you need to create a bridge table with a common column between the two tables. So basically you need to combine all the different values that you get from the column that you want to join from both tables into a bridge table, and you need to connect both tables to this bridge table by using many to one relationships. What is the difference between natural inner join and natural left outer join? Natural inner join returns the intersection of two tables. Natural left outer join returns all rows from the left table and matching rows from the right table. How does same period last year function work? It returns a table of same period. We can choose the period like day, month, or year from the previous year. So this depends on how you are using that measure. If you are using that measure to show the same period last year information for days, it will dynamically show that in the form of days. If you are using for quarters, it will dynamically show same uh, same details for last quarter in order to compare the quarters. And if you are using in terms of months, it will dynamically change that to last year's months. What is the use of treat as in DAX? It forces a table to behave like a column in a relationship. What is the function of generate in DAX? Generate function combines two tables using a Cartesian product, and it applies transformations. How can you optimize DAX calculations for performance? We can optimize DAX calculations by using measures over calculated columns wherever possible, and reduce the use of filter and earlier functions. We need to avoid complex nested iterators and leverage relationships and efficient filtering with all except. So these are the questions that we have covered today, and I hope you found this video useful. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.